Shanti, welcome to a Vyakti journey, a Vyakti Parivar Chit Chat, sharing from the heart that touches the heart. So, I'd like to invite our dear brother, Eric.
Om Shanti, dear Mohini Didi, and greetings of love to everyone. So nice to be back again. So nice to feel. Now it's almost like a special every night, 2 for 1. You know, it seems like we get double. We have Daddy Guzan, Daddy Chenki, we have you, we have a guest. This production is becoming like really a very beautiful I'm thinking of retiring soon, but I think I should apply to get a job in Avyakti Parivar now.
Thoda,
They're getting really busy. So Mohini Didi, I was really enjoying the thoughts on the Dichenki, and you know, for us, one unique aspect was that she has been talking so much knowledge for so many years, and at the end, she was, you know, making the classes shorter and shorter. Would you agree that some of the essence of her last classes is all about who am I, who I belong to, and who belongs to me? Is that also what you feel she was really insisting at the end of being, you know, the essence of what she wanted us to appreciate?
yeah, definitely the third one, recent issues and what I have to do. Who am I, whom I belong, and what I have to do. Yeah, because even now when you are listening to her, the way it has been chosen, just few lines of her are so powerful, so senseful, you know. So I think that that's what happens, that reflection, churning, then becoming embodiment, and after doing constant seva, there are just few words which are left to explain, and they are very, very powerful, very powerful. You are hearing Dadi Gulzar and Dadi Janki's few words, and you know they are really very striking, powerful, very practical. Yeah, that's true.
We feel that. And I was wondering, what is your experience of, I've been reflecting on that the last few weeks, and this notion of, you know, when Baba tells us, you know, who do you belong to? And having that experience of saying, I belong to Baba and Baba belongs to me. And I was actually seriously thinking for myself, how much is it? 100%, 50%? Did I keep a little bit of me to belong to, I don't know, myself or someone else? Or am I 100% belonging to Baba? How would you describe seeing the daddies who we know you cannot separate any daddy from Baba? What will be your way of expressing what it means to belong to Baba and Baba belongs to me?
I think we all have 100%, no?
Yeah?
Myself, you, and whom else we have, you know, in our life. So I belong to Baba, Baba belongs to me is 100%. And now the question is, what I have to do is to become like Baba. So I belong to Baba, and I have to remind myself just to see that how Baba's sanskars, Baba's qualities are more imbibed, and also interaction with those qualities. And I think we are almost there. We are becoming like Baba also, because see, it's not, you know, when you will read this Murli tomorrow, where Baba is saying that every step, one step you come, how many fold steps I come. So just take a little step, and then you see how forward I come. So I think we have accumulated enough steps of courage, and we will continue. And then the return which is coming, you know, is really, really manifold. So yes, we all are becoming like Baba also. Little margin is there. Right?
I know we have a special guest tonight, but I feel whenever I come to you for understanding more, I get a blessing. So, Daddy Jenki use X-ray machine and MRI. Are you using the blessing machine to help us?
Yeah, that's what we all have to do.
I think you are looking at us with blessing machine and we feel, okay, then everything is okay.
Thank
One little
you.
question though, I was wondering, Mohini Didi, last time you saw Daddy Gurzar next to Brahma Baba would have been probably 50 years ago when she was Daddy Gurzar and we didn't know she would be Baba's instrument. And if I'm correct, you haven't seen her too often next to Brahma Baba. Does it feel special to you to see now Daddy Gulzar, which is difficult to dissociate from Bab Dada, next to Brahma Baba in Sattar region? You must be thinking, that's interesting. I never thought I would see her like that, no?
Mm. I mean, I saw, not because she was in Delhi, and but when Mama left body, because she's the one who was next to Baba and bringing messages, and she was there all the time. So many times, of course, she was with Brahma Baba. But when I see in Sadal region, it's like, she's so, I don't know, sometimes I feel like childlike, she's full of enthusiasm, cheerful, and uh, she, but I think that she had that quality because in Dadi's life there was nothing else, their joy, their happiness, everything was with Baba, from Baba. So I think that that personality was there, but now I see it every evening and I try to understand, like she's so happy. I mean, she was always happy, but it's a kind of different feeling. Maybe she was doing her trips in subtle region, no, in subtle form. We heard in the end in a hospital, like they could see that she as an angel, and now she is free from body, so must be unlimited feelings of benevolence and unlimited feelings of serving. Very beautiful personality in angelic region.
Must be a very special experience for you to see her every day, and it's unique scene in the drama, and we'll look forward a few more days, of course, with her. So you give her our regard and tell her not to forget to come to Montreal. We are waiting for her. I would be happy to have her here. And so let's hear, we have a very unique guest tonight, which I don't know very well. So it's going to be very interesting to ask a few questions, and then we'll bring you in again for the last part. So we have Sister Nalisha tonight with us, and very happy to get to know a little bit more your story with Daddy, because I was told you have a very unique connection with Daddy, and we all want to know about it and where it comes from and how it happened. And were you Daddy's friend in your previous birth? What's the story? Tell us the full story. How did it happen?
Shanti,
And
Arifai.
welcome to Aveti Pariva. Very nice to have you. Very happy to chit chat with you. And I'm told that there will be beautiful secret stories you're going to share with us tonight.
I'm so really honored to be here today with everyone. It's just, I feel so like it's actually Baba and Dadi's blessings that really brought me to where I am right now. I came to Baba when I was 9 years old. And within months of coming to Baba, my first Raksha Bandhan, my first Rakhi was being tied with Dadi Janki. And, when you're 9 years old, 10 years old, you don't really recognize what that value is, what that means. But I do remember that since that moment, it felt like Dadi had her eyes on me, but I also had my eyes on Dadi. And, and I just continued to, and I grew up with lots of love. When you grow up in the Brahmin family, there's never a moment that you're not loved. But that love that Dadi gives, it's like that boost that you don't even realize that you needed or were missing. And it's just, with just one glance, you just feel so lifted. And I think my journey with Dadi just kind of grew from that point on. You know, when I was in my 20s, I had, you know, I was always tied with my Lokik parents who are also very elevated Brahmins. And in my 20s, I had a very private conversation with Dadi. And in that moment, Dadi had looked at Hansaben and said, you know, look after her. And that was the moment that it was kind of where my relationship started to shift with the Yagya, but also with Dadi, where I just was able to just come close in so many different ways that I myself did not even recognize that value, because it just felt so natural to be near Dadi. You know, I had, whether it be traveling with her or just staying with her and helping to look after her. And, you know, I often thought that I was there to help look after Dadi, but what was really happening is Dadi was looking after me all these years. You know, I saw Dadi as a protector of, you know, a protector of the Yagya. She was uplifting the Yagya. She was sustaining the Yagya. And I just, and really just upheld the integrity of the Yagya is what I saw and experienced. And I just felt like my part was to serve the Yagya. And part of that was just to be close with Dadi and to just learn, but also to kind of, you know, to assist and support and just in whatever way that was needed to just say yes.
So did you
Should I
find
tell
that
you
she
more?
had a lot of, did you find she had a lot of expectations on you? Do you feel that she was pushing you really beyond sometimes your comfort zone, or was she just a kind of big motherly, loving, you know, presence for you?
I think she had subtle expectation without voicing it. She never said, you should do this, you should do that, but she checked me a lot. Like, for example, so I live in Washington, D.C. with my Lokik work. And she was like, so you're living by yourself? And she goes, do you want to? And I said, well, Daddy, you know, it works with my job. And so she said, okay, so let's talk about how you're going to do this. She goes, how do you dress when you go to work? And before I could answer, she goes, this is how you will dress when you go to work. Then she would say, okay, so what are you earning? And she sat with me and we wrote down what I earned and every expense I had every month, because she wanted to make sure that I was being economical. So it wasn't like she was pressuring me, but she was checking me. Then she would say, okay, now you need discipline. Like, you know, a Brahmin life is a disciplined life. When you're living on your own, let's figure out how you're going to do this. And so we would come up with a timetable. And then she would say, okay, how are you serving at your work? So it was never like, you must do this, you must do that. But the questions were such that it made me feel that I need to always lift up or elevate my efforts. And so the way she did it was very motherly, but I also knew that it was her way of saying, this is my vision for you. Without, it always came in this beautifully blessed, you know, package of love, and you just want to say yes. And whatever, you know, whatever Dadi and I came up with as plans and discussions, it became firm in those moments.
What do you feel you learned the most from her without being dependent on her?
She brought me close to Brahma Baba. She brought me close to, you know, first it was Shiv Baba, but then it was really said, follow the father, but follow Brahma Baba, just like Mohini Didi was talking about. And it's just this really, I think it was really solidifying that relationship, but also it was about having being open to whatever drama was going to reveal to me. Growing up, I used to always ask, what is my part? What is my role? I want to know. And I used to just ask that because I said, you know, Baba found me at the age of 9 for a reason, but I want to know. I was like, I was like, secrets, I don't want secrets. I want to know. And she never answered that question, but she always taught me to have an open heart. And when I had an open heart, I'd have an open mind. And then drama would reveal itself very beautifully to me. But it was such a way that she would say it where it just made me feel calmer, patient. But what it also did was it taught me to have trust. You know, Dadi had complete trust in the drama, trust in Baba, but I also felt she had trust in me. And that was something that I was like, okay, it's not something I can keep to myself. Because what Dottie always did was whatever she had, whatever she gained, she always then shared it. And so then that also then inspired me to want to do that for others. And so I feel like what Dottie really left me with was this feeling of, it's my turn to try to uplift the yagya, or, to be that protector of the yagya. I've always had this strong feeling that I must protect the yagya, and that came from Dottie. But it wasn't that Dottie was bringing me to her. It felt like, yes, I was with Dottie a lot. Like when I'm in Madhuban, I stay with her. When she's at Peace Village, I'm with her. But it wasn't that she wasn't trying to bring me to her. She was bringing me closer to Baba, but also to my authentic, true self, I felt like.
Was it difficult? I mean, I'm trying to imagine being a young girl. It's very difficult. I can't figure it out, but I'm trying to imagine what will it be to be a young Kumari, close to Daddy, who attracts many other Kumaris. Is it difficult to be a young Kumari under the gaze of Daddy Janki when everybody else is around? Do you feel sometimes questioning yourself, or is it, I mean, I'm not trying to say, but is it like sisters, it's hard to compete with one another or get Daddy's attention? Or do you feel like it's my turn, it's my turn, it's my turn? Or how do you cope with, I don't know how I would cope being close to Daddy and not being aware of, how much time and, do I get her attention, because Daddy's loving to everyone. So how did you cope with keeping your own strength, without being crushed with this pressure or relationship with Daddy?
It's like Dottie had enough to give to everyone. There was never this feeling of, I need to be seen, I need to be up front. It was just, we all had rights. And it was interesting, whenever we were together, other Kumaris, we'd all bring each other to Dottie. It wasn't like, oh, let me go. It was always like, no, you first, because that was how Dottie, I watched Dottie, when Dottie Gulzar would be in Shakti Bhavan, Dottie was always like, where's Dottie Gulzar? Let's go see her. And she would just grab one of our hands and we'd walk out next door to see Dottie Gulzar. And that pure friendship, that clean relationship, it taught us how to be together. And so there was never competition. It was always like, no, we have to actually bring everyone forward. If I go forward, everyone goes with me. And we all just felt we had rights. It was just like, we all belonged to Dottie, we all belonged to Baba. And so it wasn't this feeling of, I must be seen. It just felt very natural to be together, because Dottie was lifting us all up just by her presence. And she gave to everyone, anyone that came to Dottie, whether you were a child, a longtime BK, or a contact soul, Dottie gave equally to everyone, and everyone felt like that Dottie belonged to them.
I have so many questions I'd love to ask you, but no, we have time. One last maybe, and I don't know if Daddy ever told you if you were a second birth Brahmin. I'm sure you've been asked this many times, or you must have questioned yourself at 9 years old coming to Baba. It was just like straight from, the old Yagya to the new one. So you were just the recycled sisters to come back again and bring Baba. But I don't know if Daddy mentioned that to you. And then, do you have one favorite scene with Daddy that you really, really cherish, like one of your best moments with her that you come back to sometimes when you miss her or you want to be with her?
Gosh, there's so many. I'll tell you two quick stories. One was that I had been in India for my Laukik work. So my Laukik work is in social justice, human rights, and I was in India doing some work. And so my organization had paid for my travel. They'd given me travel money. They paid for my ticket. And I went to Madhuban afterwards. And Dottie said to me, they've done this much service for you. What are you doing for them? And she said, and then she went into the Bandara and started herself with Jantiban, because everyone else had gone to rest, with Jantiban, started pulling out gifts, Toli, and was handing it to me. And I had this huge pile. And Jantiban says, Dottie's never done this for anyone, because Dottie said, if they're going to serve you, you have to serve them multi-million-fold. And after that moment, it actually shifted where I started serving my work. my contacts, everyone in such ways that actually my director says, oh yeah, part of our program is now we offer meditation, because it was Dottie's blessing. But it was just that scene of Dottie going into the shelves, trying to climb on a step stool to pull out items for me to take. But there was this other moment that, I admit there have been moments where I've struggled. And I would go to Dottie, and Dottie happened to be at Peace Village. And I just said, Dottie, so this is the second story. I said, Dottie, I'm feeling I've been struggling a little bit. And she said, nothing's a struggle. But she says, I understand. So she didn't come down on me for feeling like I was struggling or difficult, anything was difficult. But what she did was she took her hand and put it on my heart. And she said, she goes, whenever you find yourself feeling a little bit like something is lacking, put your hand on your heart. And she did that with me. She actually put her hand on my heart and said, I belong to Baba. I am Baba's child. And she goes, and then remember, I'm also your friend. And she said, you'll never feel alone. You'll never feel empty. But if you ever do, just put that hand on your heart. And remember, my hand was there too. And that moment, I don't think there's been a moment after that I have ever felt like empty or like something was lacking, because in that moment, I felt so connected. It was actually, I felt connected to Baba even more. And Dottie did that. She didn't say, come close to me. It was really to bring me close to Shiv Baba, but also Brahma Baba. And so that was that moment, I like, every time I talk about it, you can tell I get a little emotional about it, because it just really, it was a shifting moment for me.
I think we all get emotional. Okay, everybody try. Put all your hand in your heart. Press. How long? Did you say how long you should stay in your heart?
As long as you need to.
As long as you need to. I'm going to try that as soon as it happens. Let's bring back Mohini Didi. I'd love to hear Mohini Didi. I'm sure you must be, Nalisha, of course, from a young age as well. How do you feel, Mohini Didi, listening to, as a compliment, we still see the 9 years old girl in you. She hasn't gone anywhere. She's still there, fresh and intact. So Mohini Didi, how do you feel when you listen to such stories from those who got so close to Daddy? Yeah?
Not only listening, but I saw her in Peace Village or whenever she went, and she will always tell me, I'm going to Madhuban. And generally Hansaben calls her, because Hansaben calls her her assistant. She didn't mind it. But I think it's her fortune, and definitely blessings and good wishes from Lokik parents who are also Brahmins, Jayashriben and Ravindra Bhai. And she's there now. You are in Connecticut, right, with them. She's working few weeks from home. But also she recently shared with me the whole story of what is happening at her workplace, and how much everywhere she's in demand for meditation. And so she's young, but not young. She's big. So I thought just briefly tell us your recent service ventures or invitation. And because she works in an organization where, what is it?
So I'm working for a human rights social justice organization where we advocate for workers who are marginalized because of their circumstances. And recently, so I work with, recently I was contacted to provide a meditation program on building power and leadership for a group of women who were elected into high-level positions within their labor unions. And what was happening is that they were feeling a lack of connection to their roles, but also feeling like the stress and the burnout level was increasing. And it was interesting because they reached out to me to say, could you provide a workshop for us? You could do it virtually. If we were not in COVID, we'd fly you here. And it was, and one thing I always do is I always make sure that I do all of my service under the Brahma Kumari's name. So it's not Nalisha's name that's being glorified. And it's interesting because I always ask my work, is this okay that I do this? Because I'm doing it under our organization's name also. It's like co-sponsorship. And they are like, yes, do this. It's helping us, you know, really to showcase all the different ways that we're supporting workers. And so when Dottie was like, how are you going to serve those you work with? I never knew that it would be where it would be me with very high level social justice activists who are saying, and these were women who are saying, we're in leadership positions of power, but we're not feeling powerful. And what can we do? And so it was going through this whole process of developing my own inner powers and my own inner leadership, and then taking them through meditation. And they said that it really just shifted things for them because they never saw themselves as truly powerful. And I said, this is Dottie. You know, this is Baba's blessing. This is Mohini Didi's blessing all these years, because Mohini Didi had to do a lot to raise me. You know, I was not an easy child to raise, I would say, but the blessings of the entire yagya really, you know, it makes me feel so blessed, but fortunate that this is how I can serve the yagya. But it's not, you know, it's not me. This is all Baba.
Yeah, this is what, when I read your all detailed news, which she sends me very often, and I really feel delighted that she was 9 years old, but then all Dadi's blessings. And of course, one thing with Nalisha, and I think every young person, is that you don't force them, you don't put pressure on them, let them grow and experience the blessings, power of blessings. So that is not only with Nalisha, I think with all young people, we have to say what is right and keep our vision and good feelings and good wishes. And the amazing role she is playing at this time. So she is in young body, but also doing a big service. So congratulations and good wishes. And I'm sure you will get a lot to do, because the way time is, that stress and tension is so common. And now with all these different things happening in the world, and the sickness and distance in relationships, so people will need a lot. And I'm very happy that I can serve in a subtle way, but you are able to serve in a physical way and through words. And also I like when you said that you don't want your name to be glorified. You want Brahma Kumaris and Baba. So I think it keeps the doors very open, because if we have an individual, then, you know, it's very limited. But if we connect with the roots, and then definitely it has more power in that. So all the best. Continue with that, and all the best. Om Shanti.
This is a beautiful speciality now of Avyakti Parivar, you know, having these special guests coming in. We're discovering the family even more, not just our elders, but our youngers. And I think if we know that at both ends, you know, it's such a beautiful family. And I know we have so many very, very young ones that are even younger than 9 years old. So I think really for me, it's beautiful to see you tonight. And I think you're a very beautiful inspiration for all the little ones. So the little ones, you know, look at the future. It's right here. We're all, you know, an image of inspiration for the others. So congratulations. And Alisha, it's very beautiful to get to know you better. I didn't know these stories, so I'm sure everyone really enjoyed. And Mohini Didi, I'm sure that we're enjoying seeing these younger generations, you know, I was going to say booming. That's booming. Blooming. I was meaning blooming. Booming is booming, but you are blooming. So the young generation is booming and blooming. So congratulations. And one little word for the translators. I apologize. We were in fire. We talked very fast. And translators, you are amazing. Thank you. Mohini Didi, good night. Thank you, everyone. And
Good night.
Anisha, we'll invite you in Montreal for the rest of the stories. Oh.